Heartless, Forbidden, Book 1. Written by Suzana Thompson. Narrated by Paulina Schubert. Chapter 21. My anger propelled me back into the house, and I ignored the stares I received as I marched directly up to Cade. "You're an asshole," I declared. "I could have told you that," Brandon remarked in amusement. Cade and I both ignored him as we glared at each other. "And you're so considerate of other people," he commented sarcastically. "How would you feel if I invited your ex to this party? Or maybe you don't even have one, and that's why you're so naive about dating and breaking up. You expect everyone to smile and be friends like nothing happened." "I have an ex," I told him. "But it's a different situation because the breakup wasn't my fault. You broke up with Jenna and you broke up with the other girl too," I added as I remembered his callousness. "You didn't even call her to tell her you were breaking up with her. And don't tell me your dad wouldn't let you talk to her one more time to end it. You just didn't bother, because you didn't think of anyone but yourself." "I see how much you think about other people," he retorted. "You haven't even asked if Morgan is okay." "You're too busy bitching at me about my ex-girlfriend to care that Morgan almost died." I had forgotten about Morgan when I became distracted by all the drama after she left for the hospital, and my shame made me lash out at him. She didn't almost die. She was breathing okay, so I knew she would be fine. But as usual, you took advantage of the situation. It gave you an excuse to drink, and your mom was too shaken up to stop you. I knew what I was saying wasn't true, and that Cade had been genuinely concerned about Morgan, but I wanted to fling his criticism of me back at him. He was so heartless and selfish all the time that I didn't want to dwell on my confusing glimpse of him being anxious and upset over the well-being of another person. It didn't fit with the rest of his behavior, and it wasn't going to fool me into softening toward him. "You've got booze?" Tyler exclaimed. "Why are you holding out on us, bro?" Cade scowled at me before answering him in an apologetic tone. "It's my dad's, and I can't piss him off again. I just got back my party privilege, so I have to prove to him that he can trust me. You know what I'm saying?" he added conspiratorially. Tyler grinned. "Yeah, make him think he can trust you, and then do what you want. I get it." My disapproving glare was now directed at Tyler, and I suspected that he had just stated his philosophy regarding his girlfriend, too. He got her to trust him, but he was probably cheating on her behind her back. The way he looked at other girls when she wasn't around was enough to make me assume that he was a cheater, and I hated seeing her cling to him. He didn't deserve her, and I wished that she would wise up and dump him. I spun away from them and walked out of the game room in annoyance and disgust. I didn't realize that Brandon had followed me until he spoke. "You're not leaving again, are you?" he questioned as he came up beside me. I tempered my attitude, because he seemed to be a nice guy. "I'm tired," I replied. "I'm going to bed." "Is that an invitation?" he asked in a joking manner. "I'm very tired too, my lady. At the point of exhaustion, really. Could you take pity on this weary traveler and let him rest in your bed?" "No," I heard Cade say, and I turned to see him behind us. "She'll never let you into her bed, so don't even bother trying." I bristled at his interference. "I can speak for myself." "Go ahead," Cade urged. "Tell him you're not going to have sex with him." I had no intention of having sex with Brandon, but I was irritated that Cade was telling me what to do. "Maybe I want to have sex with him," I said. "It's none of your business anyway." "You don't want him," Cade stated confidently. "You're just going out with him to make my mom believe your story about liking one of my friends." "That's not true," I insisted. "I like him. He's nice." "Yeah," Brandon agreed playfully. "I'm nice." Cade fixed a hard gaze on him. "Don't make me tell her about you." Brandon lost his amiable expression. "Don't make me tell her about you," he retorted. "She already knows," Cade replied. "Really?" Brandon scoffed. "She knows all your dirty secrets?" "Yes," Cade answered. "I told her. And I told her that I had a friend who taught me how to party. Guess who that friend was, Lexi?" he said as he shifted his gaze from Brandon to me. "Don't fall for his nice guy act, because he just wants what you have under that dress." You don't know me, Brandon told him angrily. I was 15 the last time you talked to me, so don't assume you know shit about me anymore. I came here for old time's sake because we were good friends once. But it looks like you've become a real asshole. He turned his attention to me. I hope you'll give me a chance, Lexi, and decide for yourself if you like me or not. I'll be here at 6:30 next Friday to pick you up for our date. He bowed slightly. Until then, my lady. After he began to walk away, I turned to continue my interrupted trek to my room. When Cade fell into step beside me, I halted again. Get away from me, I demanded. He moved closer to me. I like how you sexed yourself up for me, but you didn't have to. I didn't do it for you, I retorted. I did it so that I could pick up one of your rich friends. You know how we gold diggers are. He scowled at me in annoyance. Okay, drop it already. Why should I? You don't, I goaded him. I'm such a gold digger that I even have a plan to get pregnant just so that I can trap. Stop, he yelled, so vehemently, and sprang at me so quickly that I flinched as I abruptly stopped speaking. He was in my face, but the threat of violence dissipated as his expression became remorseful, and he backed up a step. Do you want me to say it was my fault? That I shouldn't have called her those names? You shouldn't have, I agreed in a firm but subdued tone. So it was okay for her to kill the baby just to spite me? He rallied in anger. You're an idiot, I told him with my own spark of anger. She was trying to prove to you that she's not what you called her. She wasn't trying to trap you. You're the one who got her pregnant, but you put all the blame on her. She lied to me that she was on birth control, he said. I know that... You don't know anything, I interrupted him in exasperation. You just assume that women are always after your money, just like you thought that my mom was after your dad's money. She hasn't proven that she's not, he declared. The honeymoon's not over yet. Whatever, I said. I'm tired of arguing with you. Think whatever you want. I turned to go upstairs. Come back to the party, he urged. You're the reason I'm even having this damn party. I stopped and faced him yet again. They're your friends. You kicked out my friends, so... Please, he pleaded, shocking me with the word I never thought I'd hear come out of his mouth. Let's just forget everything that happened tonight and pretend like we're having fun. Pretending to have fun is not actually having fun, I told him in a softer tone despite myself. You can sort of fool yourself if you pretend enough, he replied. Please, he repeated, I can't pretend by myself tonight. Why not? I asked. It's just been a bad night, he answered with a heavy expression. Please, Lexi, come back with me. His unexpected display of vulnerability broke my resolve. Everyone thinks I'm sleeping with you, I complained, but it was obvious that I was wavering about going back to the party with him. Whatever, he responded playfully with my words. Let them think whatever they want. His brief smile lacked any real humor, though, and he seemed almost depressed. We need music, he declared suddenly. What kind of party doesn't have music? You should have thought of that, Lexi. It's your damned party. He spun and strode away, and I trailed after him in curiosity about his strange mood. I followed him into the room where we had watched a movie last weekend. Cade slid open a panel on the wall to reveal a stereo system. He pressed some buttons, and a Nicki Minaj song started playing. Courtney would probably love this crap, he commented before he turned the music up to blaring. I can't hear myself think, I protested. That's the point, he shouted back. I escaped into the hallway, but the sound was just as loud when we got to the game room, so the sound system must have been wired into it. Cade motioned to the pool table, but I spotted a skee-ball machine that I hadn't noticed before and hurried toward it excitedly. I love these, I exclaimed like a little kid. I started to reach down for a ball, but Cade grabbed it and handed it to me. He stood ready to hand me the next one every time I threw one. I wondered why he was being so solicitous, but I got caught up in trying to get a high score. He was actually smiling like he was having fun, too. Catherine had a wry smile on her face when she made an appearance. Everything all right? She yelled. Yeah, Cade replied. Turn it down, she demanded. He gave her an annoyed look, but he went to comply. The pounding music was lowered to a tolerable level, and we no longer had to shout to be heard. The neighbors couldn't hear it, Cade grumbled when he returned. You wouldn't be able to hear it soon either, Catherine retorted. You'd all go deaf. It was too loud, I agreed. We're gonna go, Tyler's girlfriend said as she and Tyler approached us. Thanks for inviting us. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening, Cade replied with a smirk. While his girlfriend was focused on speaking to Cade, Tyler had taken the opportunity to look me up and down one more time. You too, he said with his own smirk. Catherine's presence seemed to prompt the other guests to leave too, and we ended up at the front door with them. Logan was the last one to leave. Morgan is home, he told us. She's fine, but she's not allowed to eat shellfish anymore. We should go visit her tomorrow, Cade declared. Logan seemed just as surprised as I was. Yeah, I was planning on it. Good, Cade said. We'll go too. A look of understanding came upon Logan's face. Morgan's fine, he repeated. Yeah, Cade agreed. Yeah, I know. It was nice to meet you, Lexi, Logan told me. I live right down the street, so don't be a stranger. Whenever Cade starts to get on your nerves, just come on over. I laughed. Be careful. I might be over a lot. Logan grinned. Every 5 minutes, probably. You might as well just move in. Very funny, Cade snarked. Did I tell you how much I missed you, Logan? No? That's because I didn't. Same here, bro, Logan retorted in a joking manner. But your lovely stepsister here. I'm already missing her, and I haven't even left yet. You better go then, so you can miss her for real, Cade responded in a much sharper tone. Logan smiled his movie star smile. It was a pleasure to see you again too, Miss Catherine. It was a pleasure to see you too, Logan, she replied. You've all grown up so much that I hardly recognized you. You look just as beautiful as ever, he told her. She smiled at him. Oh, you always were such a charmer. Or a bullshitter, Cade remarked in a surly tone. Cade, I admonished him in dismay. Your mom is very beautiful. I know, he acknowledged. But I don't know why Logan is taking forever to leave. You should have picked up a girl before everyone else left. Stop hitting on my mom and Lexi. Cade! Catherine exclaimed in shock. Well, you're even more charming than I remembered, Logan commented dryly. Good night, ladies. Cade shut the door behind him and turned to speak to his mom. Thank God you showed up when you did. I thought Tyler was going to do his girlfriend right on the pool table. His comment startled her out of glaring at him, and her flustered gaze flew toward me. I didn't see anything, I told her. I was playing skee-ball. His hand was under... I don't want to hear it, Catherine cut him off in a shrill tone. She struggled to compose herself and directed her attention to me. Did you talk to the boy you like? She has a date with Brandon, Cade informed her flatly. She brightened. You see, I told you it would work out. Yeah, I agreed, forcing a smile. Thanks for helping me. You're welcome, she replied. Good night, kids. I'm beat. Good night, we echoed. She walked away, and I was planning to follow her. Cade spoke just as I opened my mouth to say something to him in parting. Go change into your comfortable clothes and come back down. We can watch a movie. You pick, he added. I'm tired, I said, but I really wasn't. It's the weekend, he protested. It's too early to go to bed. That was an opening for him to add an innuendo about going to bed with him, but he didn't. Wondering what he was up to, I agreed to watch the movie with him. I went upstairs and changed into the old sweatpants and t-shirt that he hated. A ghost of a smile flitted across his lips when he saw me, but he didn't remark on my outfit. What are we watching? He asked. I had thought about what movie I could torture him with. Pride and Prejudice, I answered, thinking how perfectly that described his faults. He didn't even blink at my choice, and soon he had it playing on the TV. I tried to ignore his presence beside me on the couch and get caught up in the movie, but his expensive cologne smelled really good, and I was too aware of being alone with him. All the servants and guests had left, and Catherine was all the way upstairs. There was nothing suggestive in this proper period movie in which people spoke so formally to each other and kept all their clothes on. Cade would probably be bored enough to fall asleep. It was a hot day, Cade said. We were in the pool. I glanced at him to see him staring at the screen. I got out to sneak a drink from Courtney's can of cola, because I'd already drank mine, and Mom said we could only have one a day, he he continued, still staring at the screen as he spoke. Courtney guessed what I was doing, and she got to it first. She took a big gulp, and she screamed, and dropped the can. He paused as I silently stared at his profile with the dreadful knowledge that he was telling me about his sister's death. Mom came running over, but Courtney was just gasping and grabbing at her throat. Mom carried her into the house screaming for help. Someone called an ambulance, but Courtney had stopped breathing. Her throat had swelled and closed up. It all happened so fast. The cola did that? I asked in confusion and shock. He shifted his gaze from the screen to look at me. A wasp had gotten inside the can, and it stung her in the throat when she swallowed it. Nobody even knew that she was allergic. She had never been stung before. I gaped at him in horror while imagining swallowing a wasp. Just seeing one creeped me out, and to think of that happening to a child was awful beyond comprehension. It was the kind of stuff nightmares were made of. I swallowed thickly before finding my voice. I'm so sorry. He retreated away from my sympathy as he turned his face back toward the screen. It might have flown away by the time she drank from it if I hadn't gone for it right then. It wasn't your fault, I told him. It was a freak accident. My mom blamed me, he said. She did? I questioned in disbelief. She actually said that? No, he replied, but she didn't want to be around me anymore. She spent all her time in Courtney's room, but she didn't let me stay in there with her. She was grieving, I explained to him, but that doesn't mean that she was blaming you. Yeah, he agreed half-heartedly. You're right. I am right, I insisted heatedly. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't anybody's fault. It was just a freak accident that nobody could have predicted. Yeah, he repeated, but he still didn't sound convinced. We lapsed into silence and didn't speak until the movie was over, and then we just said goodnight after walking up the stairs together. I guess that Kate had just needed to talk about his sister after the scare with Morgan had stirred up his terrible memories of his sister's death. It had affected my perception of him, although it still didn't excuse his bad behavior. I hated feeling any kind of sympathy for him. It had been much easier just to hate him. There were too many revelations to sort out in my mind, and I was too weary to do that tonight. I removed my makeup and reversed my transformation. My sweatpants were so comfortable that I didn't bother changing into pajamas before going to bed. Sleep came quickly, and I dreamed that I was Elizabeth at the ball dancing with Mr. Darcy, but he looked like Cade.